Don't let anyone tell you that Corvettes aren't cool. I came here to a random parking lot in Spain to show you why. The Corvette genuinely needs no introduction. This is the all-American car, and specifically, this is the C5, the Corvette's 5th generation. This car is so American that it was actually designed by a guy named John. It was built in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The Corvette is a cultural icon. From Prince to Sir Mix-a-Lot to George Strait, every single genre of music has at some point had a song where a Corvette is mentioned. But you see, Corvettes have gotten so caught up by stereotypes that now only foreign people like me can understand what they really are. Heads up, what they are is great. And this car, alongside the Porsche 911, is the most iconic sports car of all time. You see, I was born in Argentina, although I now live here in Europe. I had absolutely no stereotype of a Corvette driver when I was growing up. And when I was seeing these cars, these were not popular cars. American cars in general are not popular in either South America or here in Europe. So if you ask me to think of a Corvette driver, I would just think of a stereotypical wealthy guy, but nothing on top of that. It was only later, when as a teenager I started traveling more often to the United States, that I started realizing that there was a stereotype. Generally, an old person, a retired person, who has owned their Corvette since new, and they really pamper it and rarely take it over 4,000 RPM. Either that, or people in the Midwest or the South want a sports car. That was kind of the stereotype that I started getting. But to me, it was just an idea. I have never seen any of those stereotypes from this car. To me, this is a car. And it's a car to be judged as a car as a 911 is, as an AMG GT, as an M3 is. Not for their drivers, but for what the car actually is. By the way, now's a great time to like and subscribe. I personally know people who would not buy a Corvette in the United States because of what it meant if they actually pulled up in one. I'm not one of those people. To me, this is a performance bargain. It was back when it was new, and it still is today. Moreover, it's a stunning looking car. And unlike many cars in its segment, it's actually reliable and fairly economical to own. Anyway, what do I have here? As I said before, this is the Corvette C5. It was made from 1996 until 2004, and it's a 5th generation Corvette. This car marks the end of the pop-up headlight, but it marks the start of the LS family of engines, as this car was the first one to have an LS, specifically an LS1. 5.7 liters, 16 valves, so that's 2 valves per cylinder, putting out 344 horsepower, which are sent to the rear wheels, in this case, via 6-speed manual gearbox. Think about it again, forget about those stereotypes. This car gives you big V8, over 300 horsepower, a manual gearbox, and rear-wheel drive with a limited slip differential. Seriously, man, what's not to like? If you want to get that combo without going American, you have to spend some serious money. This is the blue Corvette that Eiffel 65 was talking about. This is what they pictured. This is a seriously rare car here in Europe. Any Corvette in general. And I think it's that which allows me to appreciate it so well. It's a beautiful car. When you see a car every day, you forget how good it is. When you don't see it often, you're reminded of that. Fine, there's an elephant in the room, let's talk about it. Yes, the plastics in the interior are absolutely atrocious. Oh, I cannot put the window up. I hope it didn't break. Please go up. Please go up. It's not working well. Like, this panel is really bad. Every time I climb in a C5 Corvette, I remember, but you do get electric seats. And this is a really well-kept unit. This is a one-owner unit. So fine, I get it. The owner is a friend of mine. He has a 996, which was a rival of this car at the time. He just tells me the interior of the 996 is just 100,000 times better. I'm not kidding. This is economy car plastics. Also, you also get some comfort equipment. You get dual zone climate control. You get cruise control. You get a really cool trip computer. Oh, and let's not forget about those speakers. You can remove this top and cruise like a Targa. But I do feel that when someone thinks of this car, the first thing that comes to their mind is, I cannot put the windows are not working properly. The first thing that comes to mind is cheap plastics. You mentioned Corvette, that you think cheap plastics are farmer or retired 80-year-old. When, to be honest, the first thing that should come to mind is this. Americans just cannot understand how good they have it. I probably just blew through like 30 euros of gas just idling here. So this Corvette is one of one. It's the only unit made on a Tuesday during the lunch break in this blue color with a black interior and in European spec. I'm sorry, I'm sitting in a Corvette, I'm picking up the Corvette Stereotypes. But seriously, aside from the fact that it's Euro spec, there's nothing really special about this unit. It's just a normal, regular, base C5 manual Corvette, and it's still fantastic. What's the driving experience of a C5 Corvette like? Well, it's pure bliss. I've just driven the E63 AMG. I've just gotten off that car and into this one, and it's such a completely different sensation. This is a car that I don't care if I'm going fast or going slow. All I care about is this. I push the pedal in, and I hear that wonderful roar, and I'm not even going fast. I don't care. This is a car whose enjoyment can be measured more by what it transmits in terms of feeling than by its raw power and sheer numbers. It's not like the E63, it's the exact opposite. I could also see myself driving some fairly long distances in it. You can tell it's a very analog car, unlike the E63, which is a very modern car. You floor this car and the sound is just amazing, and it's so instant. It's such a fantastic car. It just sounds fantastic. How much are these cars in the US? Aren't they? They're like 15 grand, and I think I'm even exaggerating. They'll last forever, except for the plastics and apparently the windows. I don't get the hate that this sometimes gets within my American friends. So back again, what makes this car so great? It's cheap power, number one. It looks incredible, and it has a lot of cultural heritage. It's simply a fantastic car all around. You get history, you get power, you get looks, and you get a bargain of a price. Because these cars aren't rare at all. They are in Europe. They're not in the US, where you're probably watching this video from. Because sometimes that's all it takes to appreciate what you've got. A random foreign guy standing in the wind telling you how great you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go get a Corvette. A C5 Corvette, a C6, whatever you can get your hands on. Go get it. Just do it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you agree with me, if you did, and if you didn't. Like this video and subscribe to this channel for more content. See you next time.